Oh look, a shadowy figure. That means something big is coming very soon, and I think it is. This time is for Ford, and they are teasing all of us on YouTube, everywhere you see right now. All of these teasers of the upcoming SUV, a Mustang-inspired, whatever that means. It's a crossover SUV, and we'll see. And of course, what all this hoopla is going to be really like without some of the leaked images. I have that for you, but I'm gonna have Tom Moloughney of Inside EVs here to talk about it, and he also's got some inside information about this car, so I'm really excited. And you know, obviously they're going after the Tesla Model Y, and many have tried, but Mazda and Nissan have unveiled theirs on the Tokyo Auto Show. I'm not really sure if they're much to talk about, but this could be a real thing. Me and Tom are invited to the event. It's going to take place right before the LA Auto Show, which is a little odd, and they're inviting us there for like 5 days straight. I don't know what we're going to do there, but sounds like they really want this to be a big deal. Obviously, we're going to report to you guys from there together, probably very, very shortly after the unveiling, unless they put a little embargo on that, which is a possibility. So I'm really excited, but let me bring in Tom. Let's talk about some of the specs. Let's talk about how and if it really does stack up against the Tesla Model Y. Before that, a quick reminder that this video on this channel is sponsored the Climate Exchange. They're back with a huge Tesla raffle. If you win, you pretty much get any configuration up to $195,000 that you want from Tesla. The link in the description of this video, you can buy the tickets. Only 4,000 will be sold, so the chances are not that bad. And even if you don't win, you're essentially contributing to a great cause. Climate Exchange is a nonprofit, environmentally friendly organization. You can find out more about them and enter the raffle using the link in the description of this video. All right, without further ado, let me bring in Tom and talk about this exciting big unveiling that's coming up. Tom, welcome back to the show.
Hey, Alex, thanks for having me again.
All right, so let's talk about this. You know, we both are invited to this event, and it's just ahead of the media days of the LA Auto Show. Why is everybody making such a huge deal about it? We've seen so many cars unveiled just recently, the Tokyo Auto Show, Mazda, Lexus, was it Nissan? Why is this a big deal?
Yeah, so it's good that you brought that up. The introductions seem to be in this same class that Ford's upcoming Mach-E, or whatever they're going to call it, is. Nissan introduced the Ariya, and as you mentioned, Mazda introduced the MX-30. They're both kind of these small crossovers that all electric that would fit into that segment. That said, the Mach-E seems to be the most interesting one, and the one that could be the most, if you want to call it, disruptive of those three. And it's clear that Ford really went right after the Tesla Model Y. If you look at the specs on the vehicle, the proposed specifications at least, they're nearly identical to the Tesla Model Y. Ford was, rumors talking about it's going to have in its largest battery capacity over 300 miles of EPA-rated range. Now, nobody's done that but Tesla so far. And it seems like Ford's going after that. And the fact that they're having optional battery packs, indicating that with the extended battery, I think they called it, it went over 300 miles of range. So they're copying Tesla again with different battery pack options. Also, with regards to the performance times, we're also hearing that in the performance trim, the top of the line Mach-E will go 0 to 60 in under 3.5 seconds. Sound familiar? That's pretty much exactly what Tesla's claimed that the performance Model Y will do. So it's clear that Ford's got a little case of Tesla-itis here and is really trying to align the Mach-E with the Model Y.
I like that. Tesla-itis? Is that what Dr. Moloughney diagnosing Ford with?
I think so. I think Ford it's pretty clear that they're concerned about that segment. They're really going after the crossover and SUV segment, since they announced that they're going to be kind of getting out of the sedan business and dropping pretty much all of their cars except for the Mustang eventually, and just selling SUVs, crossovers, and pickup trucks. Well, the Model Y is going to really bite into that small crossover market, and it's clear that they're not happy with that. So the Mach E is going to be the Model Y fighter, and that's kind of interesting because if you remember, Ford was the one that didn't allow Tesla to use Model E because they had a trademark from that from way back in the 20s when they were naming their cars, you know, the T's and the A's, and they had trademarked a bunch of letters. So Ford didn't allow Tesla to use the Model E, therefore not allowing Elon to do his sexy lineup and call the Model 3 the 3. So now this electric car coming from Ford is, at least the code name was the Mach E, not the Model E, but it's pretty close. And that might actually end up being the production name. We're not quite sure yet. They might even put Mustang in that. It might be the Mustang Mach E. And talking about Mustang, you know, we've heard people refer to this car as the Mustang-inspired crossover. And I got a little scoop for you. I actually was able to speak with a couple people this week that has seen this vehicle and sat in it. They haven't driven it, but they've seen it and sat in it. And they said that calling it Mustang-inspired was a little bit of a stretch. So don't expect...
In a good way or in a bad way?
Well, it doesn't look a whole lot like a Mustang is what they kind of said. You know, it's got the taillights are similar. Maybe the way the rear of the car slopes back slightly. I think Ford clearly just was trying to piggyback off of the popularity of the Mustang name. Because
when you can't blame them, right? I mean, no, it is you know, sometimes it's good to use your past to pave it for the way for the future. Sure. But let me show you a couple of things, because a couple of pictures that I guess are renderings based on some of their 3D files that leaked and got rendered. Yeah. So these were leaked by I believe the Instagram account All Car News. And this is one of the 4 renderings. So this is one of them. Here's another one, and it looks more like a Model 3 to me. Here's the ones that are kind of filled in, which they did on their own. And here's another one from the back. Now here's a still image from the actual video, the teaser video that I showed. But overall, it's kind of a sort of Mustang inspired, but at the same time, I don't even want it to be. Let's move forward. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I don't know if you noticed one of those renderings that you showed me. The back really looked like an I-Pace to me. So, but it's going to be similarly sized to the I-Pace. This isn't a big, tall SUV crossover. It's not going to be like the Mercedes EQC. Definitely not like the Audi e-tron. I think you'd more compare it to the Model Y or the Jaguar I-Pace. And it's not going to be nearly as expensive as the I-Pace. The rumors have it that this is going to start at around $40,000. And that's pretty good considering it's going to be a long-range, all-electric crossover. We're not 100% sure how the drivetrain configurations are going to be, but it's looking like they're going to offer rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. So the base model will be probably be a rear-wheel drive with the smaller battery pack, and then as an option, you'll probably be able to get the bigger battery pack with all-wheel drive and in a performance version. The Mach E, if you're familiar with Ford's history, they had the Mach 1. That was really popular Ford, in the 60s. And, I think that resurrecting that name, in my opinion, means Ford is pretty serious about this because, to bring that name back up with something that they did half-heartedly, I think would be a stain on Ford. So I think that they're taking this really seriously, and they're really trying to put forward a great electric vehicle. We'll see. You and I will see maybe a day or two before the rest of the public out in California. But all indication is that it's going to be a pretty competent vehicle and a good entry into this class.
Yeah, now, so we should obviously mention that Ford's sort of first step towards electrification. Now, I know they had Focus EV and whatever, but they basically brought in a new CEO that kind of turned things around, right? And I guess this is his first baby.
Yeah, well, I'm sure this was in development before they brought him in. This is coming to market soon. So this has to be a few years into development. So I wouldn't give Mr. Hackett all the credit for the Mach-E, but hopefully he's going to take the company in a new direction and really start to bring electrification to the forefront. As much as you and I are electric vehicle fans and a lot of your followers, the truth of the matter is, for the past few years, it's very difficult to make, or impossible, to make EVs and make them profitable. That's really only been really recently with battery prices dropping down. So I half don't blame some of these companies for not going in, all the way when it was very difficult to make them and make them affordable. Now Ford seems like they're ready to pivot. Let's see. I'm looking forward to seeing this Mach-E. It's got all good specs. It's got long range. They're saying that it's going to have 150 kilowatt DC fast charge, which means that they're serious about this. They want to be able to provide their customers with quick recharging. I think I read somewhere that a Ford rep said that it'll deliver 47 miles of range every 10 minutes.
And they did make the
That's the
deal
peak
with
charge rate.
Electrify America as well, very recently. Not the best deal. There's no free supercharging or that kind of stuff, but they made a deal with a fast charging network here in the United States, which is
Yeah.
another good step.
And to be honest with you, that's a discussion for another day. But I'm not really in favor with the free charging. If you want to offer it as a bonus, give a very small amount of free charging with a new electric vehicle, kind of as some kind of spiff to buy the vehicle. But I don't think that's healthy for the industry in the long run, when people can just plug in and charge at these DC fast chargers for free. When they don't have to, if it's free, they'll occupy spaces when they don't really need to. So I'm not really on board with the free charging.
I totally agree. I mean, the thing is, the bonus there is that you're already paying so much less for the electricity than for the gas, and you don't have to do oil changes or tune-ups and stuff like that. Like, it doesn't have to be free. I guess Tesla screwed up for everybody.
Market rate is good enough.
Yeah,
even the Electrify America pricing, it's not cheap, but it shouldn't be cheap. You've got to pay for that infrastructure, for those stations, for the upkeep. Cheap is when you charge at home. When you need to use a high-speed DC fast charger to for interstate travel or long distance travel, you got to expect to pay a little bit more than what you're going to pay at home. So that's only right.
So let me go back for a second to Tesla Nigel. Tesla, this is not the first company, legacy or not, that tried to go after Tesla. Recently Porsche has tried that, and the jury is kind of still out, but I think most people agree that it's just not 100% as good. I know you've had a little bit of a falling in love with it as you had your European trip, but I mean, listen, do you think it's the right strategy for Ford or any other legacy manufacturer to go after Tesla? Because let's be honest, the electric market, the electric car sales market is still about 1, maybe 2% on average. You can go after the rest of 98% and be still very, very, very successful. Do you think it's a mistake that they're all making, and the Ford is just about to make, going after Tesla rather than the 98% of gas car owners, including obviously their own customer base?
No, I don't think it's a mistake, because listen, they're smart. They recognize what Tesla's doing is working. That Tesla is putting out vehicles that people want, and they're buying them. So I think it's smart to say, hey, they seem to, all the vehicles they put out so far, people love, and they're buying them at, record paces. So what are they putting out next? This Model Y, and here's the specs, and this is what it does. So yeah, we should do that too. So I think that, I don't think it's a problem. And, imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. So they're not trying to kill Tesla. This isn't a Tesla killer. I think what they're trying to do is just capture some of the market that the Y was going to capture, because they recognize that's the segment that people want today, small crossovers, and that Tesla's smart in, making a small crossover now. I mean, there's people that argue that Tesla should have put out the Y before the 3, and you can make an argument for that case. They probably would have sold even more, but they did the 3 first, and now I expect, and so does Elon, I believe, expects the Y to outsell the 3. So
no, actually, he just said in an earnings call, he said all 3, right? Not the Model 3. Like I'm talking about Model S, Model 3, and
well, at least here in the U.S., that's the type of vehicle that people want. These small crossovers. Look at every automaker's lineup now. That's where they're putting the cars, and these small crossovers and larger SUVs. But the small family crossovers seem to be really a family favorite now. And it makes every sense. It makes all the sense in the world for Ford to make that their first real serious attempt at an EV. Now, they had the all-electric Focus EV, but that was purely a compliance ploy. I don't think that they would even argue that. They had to get something out. They were able to make that quickly, and it actually wasn't a bad EV. But
it wasn't a bad EV, actually.
It really wasn't.
I agree.
But this is their first real serious attempt, and I'll tell you, I'm really looking forward to checking it out and seeing the full specifications.
Well, we got invited a couple of weeks ago, and we kind of knew this was coming, and I see all the teasers and everything. But I gotta tell you, I think the moment when I realized this is maybe bigger than I'm actually expecting, this could steal the LA Auto Show, Rivian style, is when you told me that despite all this Tesla news that just came out of the earnings report, you wanted to talk about this today. So I think that's why I realized, like, whoa, this might be a real thing here.
Well, yeah, in my mind, it is. I think this is really big, and I think Ford thinks it's really big. They're really making a really big event out of this. I mean, heck, they're bringing us out there nearly a week before the LA Auto Show. We've got a bunch of different events. I don't want to really talk about that yet. Planned. So they're taking this seriously. They're spending a ton of money on the pre-LA events to get the journalists in these cars and checking them out. So this isn't just another introduction. Ford's really taking this to heart and trying to put their best foot forward.
Well, I'm looking forward to this.
Another thing, this is getting pushed up earlier than what we planned. Than what was originally told. We expected this car late 2020. This car is coming in the first half of 2020, maybe even late in the first quarter. I was able to speak with 2 Ford dealership principals, and they were told that they're going to get their allotments really early in the year, maybe the end of the first quarter, at least put in their allotments. And they're not expecting 1 or 2 cars. One person that I spoke to said that he's already been marked down to get 15 Mach-Es. So that's another indication that Ford's serious about this. We've seen a lot of EVs get introduced, and dealerships get 1 or 2, or their special order cars. The Audi e-tron, for instance, they're not a regular stocked item in the U.S. The dealership has to order it. So how are they going to sell a lot of them if you can't even come into a dealership and have 2 or 3 on the lot to look at, to feel, sit in, and test drive? If the dealership, if you pull into a Ford dealership and there's 10 Mach-Es out front, to touch them, drive them, look at the different colors, the different interiors, that's how you sell cars. Not by having 1 in the back corner of the parking lot that maybe is charged. People want to come in and touch and feel the cars.
Absolutely agree.
Sounds like Ford's going to do that.
Yeah, I didn't know that, and I guess that's the Tom Moloughney exclusive here. But I mean, it is a big deal that they're going to take it seriously. It seems like just by the amount of money that they've allocated for the whole electrification. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the event. We'll do our thing live once again. I think I always enjoy that. I think our viewers enjoy that. Let everybody know where they can follow you and your interesting tweets, which I've seen a few lately. Where can Go ahead.
I'm on Twitter at Tom Moloughney. I think that's listed right below my name. And I'm a staff writer over at Inside EVs. So check us out and see what's catch up on the latest news over at Inside EVs.
Absolutely. Always enjoy your stories on Inside EVs, but you guys got to follow Tom on Twitter. There's some interesting stuff that's going on. All right, man. It's always great to see you. We'll talk about another exciting topic next week. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel, just for the reason of listening to Tom's a weekly segment, it's worth it, I believe. And I will see you next time.
Thanks, Alex. Take care.
Absolutely. All right, well, this is interesting. I mean, we got a bit of exclusive from Tom. First of all, it's never hurts. And I got to tell you guys, I'm not kidding. What I just said on the air is absolutely true. I was going to ask Tom to talk about one of 5 or 6 different very, very exciting and amazing news that just came out of Tesla. And he's like, no, I want to talk about Ford's new electric. So I was like, whoa, this must be a big deal. And by the way, the links to the Inside EVs articles from Tom and his Twitter account are in the description of this video. Now, I want to mention John Zimmerman, one of my newer Patreons. Thank you so much for supporting the show. I'm a full-time YouTuber. This is my actually full-time job. So, and the reason for that is you guys, my Patreons, you get to watch me live. And we do a little session after that as well, kind of a Q&A once in a while. So thank you so much for supporting me. And for those who want to see what's going on behind the scenes, definitely join me on Instagram. This is the way to see my stories, my postings, and of course, I don't want to forget this, our free VIP list where you get bonus stories. And one of the bonus stories this weekend is about one of the competitors for now Ford's new SUV, but also for the Model Y. All right, me and Tom are looking forward to your comments. Other than that, see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.